Hey. So, was it better than the book?
No.
It wasn't?
It was more tooth biting than the book, but
Uh-huh.
it was still depressing as shit.
Yeah. What was... Because we were talking about this, I don't even remember if it was in a video or outside of a video or both.
Oh, the thing that makes... The thing that happens in this book that made me kind of hate the first two books in retrospect. Spoiler alert, guys.
The fellas out there.
I got in trouble one time for saying spoiler alert and then really quickly saying the thing that I was trying to alert them to, and I realized
You shouldn't get in trouble for that, because if you are watching a vlog like this that is known for spoiling things, that's typically between sometimes 20 minutes, sometimes half hour, sometimes an hour, there will probably be spoilers.
Spoil a bunch of stuff. Warning, I'm going to tell you all the people that died in this movie. But Prim dying specifically.
Oh, that one?
Yeah.
Oh.
But then also Fennec dying, because he's my favorite.
Which one was he?
He was the Trident guy, the one that got married and then immediately died, but apparently not so immediately died that his wife didn't get knocked up.
Oh, what? Man. What? Okay, that thing that got killed by the creatures from The Descent.
Yeah, that was Fennec.
And that's the guy who got married, right?
Yes.
Okay, alright, good.
Yeah,
I'm on the right track.
He was the guy from the second one
Yeah.
that had the little old lady friend that helped him escape. And he had the crazy girlfriend who had gotten taken by the Capitol, and they managed to rescue her, and they got married, and then he died.
As soon as he got married. Like,
Yeah.
I'm calling this right now. This guy's... I was also sitting there like, I think this might be who Sarah was talking about. I figured
He was
like...
one half of the people that I was talking about.
I figured once he got married, I'm like, well, he's dead, so this must be what Sarah's talking... Or, like, maybe Prim dies.
Nope, it was Prim.
Yeah.
Mostly it was Prim, because, like, it kind of makes the whole thing kind of pointless.
It kind of does.
Yeah.
Like, because when you told me that, when you said that there was a death in it, then that made you kind of angry about events that happened in other books. The only one that made sense for me was that. I was going to be like, oh, well, then I'll bet Gale dies.
Fuck that guy.
Oh, don't even get me started.
Yeah, Team PETA.
I guess.
Because
Sure.
he's the one that isn't Gale.
Yeah. So, yeah, I was thinking that. I was like, well, if Prim dies, that really makes a lot of this, well, shit.
Yep, and it wasn't like a build up to it. She was just suddenly there, and then she exploded.
That was why in the movie I was like, wow, this movie moves at a fucking snail's pace.
And then all of a sudden, everything happens.
And then all of a sudden, a character dies, and I wasn't sure that they were dead until they told me. And that was it. Like,
In the book,
I guess she's dead.
I remember in the book that it was more extensive, like the... It's been a while, but like part of the sidewalk cracks in, and like Gale and Katniss are like hanging. It's like never let go. And then there's like a whole rescue squad, and they're rescuing people for a while, and then they explode, which makes more sense than just suddenly she's there and suddenly she explodes.
Yeah, my first thought was, what's she doing there? But I didn't have long to think about that.
Because then she exploded.
Yeah, which a lot of this movie was like me catching myself up on what happened in the last movie. Like, in the opening scene, I was like, alright, why does she have the bruises around her neck? Oh, right, PETA went nuts.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I'm good.
I've read all the books, and I've seen all the movies, and I still could not remember for the life of me who that bald girl was.
I remembered her being in the other movies, but...
I remember she's a sass mouth, and I remember that her and Katniss don't get along, but that's just because she was a sass mouth and her and Katniss didn't get along in this movie. So I have to assume she's always been like
she's there for the teenagery shit they throw in this movie. Between her getting, like, totes jealous, Katniss getting lots of attention, to, like, the fucking love triangle. Man. Like, guys, can we seriously worry about this later? We're trying to overthrow a fucking government here.
Yeah, like this part where Katniss is pretending to be asleep, and the guys are basically, like, rock, paper, scissoring to get to be her boyfriend in the back corner.
Can we not do this?
Like, well, this shouldn't be a problem, because one of us is probably gonna die, and if one of us doesn't, then it's up to her to choose between us.
Oh,
you were right, bro. Bros forever.
It's like, thanks for spelling that out for me, movie. This movie oh God, but so Gale, anyway,
Yes, tell us
who
about
is
Gale.
just specifically Liam Hemsworth, because the thing about Liam Hemsworth is that he can take a character that maybe was important in the book and make it feel like it's not. That it could be easily cut out of this entire series. And that's Gale in a nutshell. In a nutshell.
Gale in a nutshell. He has very pretty eyes, and that's about all he has going for him.
That is it. Liam Hemsworth is anti-entertainment. When he is on screen, nothing is happening because he makes you feel like nothing is happening. Like this guy, like it should be like a Michael Biehn playing this character, and this guy is so bad, I'm wishing for Jai Courtney. Like,
I don't know who either of those people are.
Michael Biehn, Kyle Reese, Terminator.
Oh, okay.
And Jai Courtney played him not as well in Terminator Genesis.
Well, then, in retrospect, that was an extremely clever joke he just made.
Thanks.
Yeah, he makes Michael Biehn look like Jai Courtney or whatever.
No, that's the opposite of what I said. Except for the one guy out there who's like, yeah, Courtney was the best.
Yeah, Team Jai!
Finally, someone did Kyle Reese right. It was Jai Courtney. But the difference between Jai Courtney and Liam Hemsworth is I've at least seen Jai Courtney be good in a couple things.
I'm hard-pressed to remember what else I've seen Liam Hemsworth in.
That Paranoia movie with Harrison Ford, like he was the lead in that. And I'm sure there's other things I've seen him in.
He
but
seems like the sort
God,
of guy that would just be the love interest if they can't figure out someone more charismatic to be.
We can't get Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah.
Here's his fucking brother. Oh, he must be good. No. But he has eyes.
He has very pretty eyeballs.
He reacts to a guy getting killed in this the same way he reacts to a kiss that he wasn't sure about. When he says, that kiss was like a drunk kiss, it didn't mean anything. Like, how many times has this happened to him? He kisses a lot of drunk people. He knows it every time it happens.
No, well, I'm inclined to explain that line just because I understood it at the time. I think he was saying that since she was all, like, PTSD'd, that her kissing him didn't count because she wasn't in her right mind.
Then he should have said that.
Yeah, he didn't play the scene very well.
No.
I apparently I don't dislike him as much as you do, but I don't like him very much. I think the kid that plays Peeta does a good job, and I like Jennifer Lawrence.
Jennifer Lawrence, easily the best part of this movie.
She's so good.
She's great in it.
I'm looking forward to, what's that movie she's doing?
Joy? That looks awesome.
It does look awesome.
Those batshit movie about the maker of the Miracle Mop you could ever make. I can't wait for that. I'm surprised we didn't get a trailer for that movie in front of this.
True enough. We didn't get very many trailers at all.
Like 5. But this movie...
Just wanted to get to the good stuff. I'm so depressed.
I'm not even depressed. I was bored.
Just everyone dies, and then Katniss has PTSD, and then it turns out that everything was for naught, and then she murders a lady at the end.
Yeah, like the movie has... I probably have the same reaction to this as I did Mockingjay Part 1, in that there's maybe an hour's worth of really interesting stuff in here. And there was. And then there's 90 minutes of shit that should have been cut out. Like, I'm starting to notice a trend in all of these Part 1, Part 2 bullshit, which there is always going to be several scenes in which characters are asleep and doing nothing.
There was an awful lot of sleeping in this movie.
Yes, there is. Quite a bit. In a lot of these Part 1 and Part 2s. There are scenes where characters repeat the same dialogue, and because everybody is asleep, they're all talking in this monotone-ass voice, either talking about the love triangle again, or things that happened in other movies, and then the same things that happened in other movies, reminding us again of what their position in this unit is, shit that should have been cut.
And, like, characters that I feel like would have benefited from more of a backstory kind of just got glossed over. Like, Pollux was one of my favorites, and I love that actor.
Yeah, same here.
Jesse Jackson from She's All That. And they just explain, like, in passing, like, oh yeah, we're down in the tunnels. Pollock here had to work down here after he became an AVOX.
Yeah.
And it took us 5 years to buy his way out. I'm like, I want to hear that story.
Yeah. Yeah, like, at least it wasn't like, like when Twilight told us backstories that were way more interesting than everything. Yeah, you fucking right. Like the one character who was like a bride and then got like, was she like gang raped or something? And it was like a revenge backstory.
I think she got raped by like her fiance and his friends, and then she became a vampire, so she murdered them all.
Why am I not watching that? At least this, it's like there's an hour of a good movie in here. Like when they're dealing with the propaganda that they're still making, when they're dealing with like, okay, this one person wants to take down this really corrupt regime, but is also incredibly corrupt. Like that, I like stuff like that. And also Katniss just being just stressed out, just like, I don't care about this, like...
Oh, yeah, she's a broken shelf woman.
Yeah, like, I like her being like, I don't care about this filming shit or the politics anymore. I just want to go into his house and shoot him.
I want to murder him. I want him to see me when I want him to stare into my eyes as I murder him.
And that stuff was great, but then there's 90 minutes of walking and sleeping and walking and sleeping again.
Again, I hate to beleaguer the point, but they could have done like 75 minutes of walking and sleeping and 15 minutes of developing why the fuck Prim was there before she exploded.
Yeah, thank you, yeah. This movie has 20 endings. And boy, the guys in the bathroom were talking about that too. Like, fuck, I've been wanting to piss for the last 20 minutes, it just wouldn't end.
Oh, you poor guy. Poor old bathroom guy. He's had a hard day.
The other guy's like, true that.
True that, bro. Pros forever.
This could have been, like, between Mockingjay 1 and Mockingjay 2, with the stuff in this movie that was kind of interesting, like the weird booby traps that are after him, like weird oil slick, and...
Like spiderweb oil.
Yeah,
because PETA just straight up flings that guy into it and, like, snaps him up and then just, like, pins him to the walls.
Yeah, that, and, like, those, like, lights that were coming down from the ceiling and, like, disintegrating people, and the floor chopping up with razor blades. Like, this whole movie would have been a fantastic climax to one movie. Like, fuck me. It's like, it's okay to have trilogies still. This didn't need to happen. And the only reason that this happened, this part 1 and part 2 bullshit, isn't for any kind of artistic reason. It's just because it'll make double the fucking money.
Yeah.
Even though you've taken what could have been a really good trilogy to 2 really good movies, and 2 movies that are mostly boring and should have been one movie.
This one more so than, like, say, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows.
See, I missed the first part of that.
Yeah, you didn't miss much. This movie I felt was okay to have in 2 parts, because it kind of made sense before they rescue PETA and then after they rescue PETA. It's just that they weirdly padded some areas and then cut other areas down. So I think that it wasn't so much that it should have been 2 movies as that they should have paced both movies.
No, I agree with that too. Like, I do think it really should have been one, like, 2.5 hour movie, but even looking at what they have in this movie, man, this movie did not need to be 2 hours and 20 minutes long. Like, the ending itself is 20 minutes of that.
Yeah, they're just like sitting in a field, like her and PETA have settled down and had 2 cherubic babies, and she's like talking to the baby about how she used to murder people. And I'm sitting there thinking, what do these people do for a living now? Because it's just, do they just sit in fields all day?
She probably gets royalties on the Hunger Games rerun.
it's in syndication. Because originally, yeah, they were... since they were victors, they were being supported by the Capitol to live out their days, but the Capitol doesn't exist anymore, and I can't imagine they're still gonna just... Maybe they just kind of keep paying them, like, good job for being the Mockingjay, here's money for the rest of your life, but so then what do they do all day?
I imagine that she's pretty well taken care of, but in terms of what do they do for entertainment...
Yeah, they must be so bored.
Yeah, it kind of turned into, like, like an 1800s movie at the end of it.
Yeah,
a little
she's
bit.
Like laying on the couch being all depressed. I'm like, that girl could use some TV. Like, can you imagine being depressed and not having TV?
Yeah.
What do you stare at?
I stare at the hole in my wall.
You stare at the stripe along the wall that's getting slowly darker over the weeks.
That made sense because 10 minutes of this movie is Heaven's Gate. When the violin started playing and they all started dancing in a circle, like, I've seen this scene before. This is gonna go on for 15 minutes.
I was thinking they were in steerage on the Titanic.
Like, it was even, like, the same, like, establishing... There's a part in Heaven's Gate where it's just this, like, 15-minute, like, violin scene where they're all dancing on roller skates.
You told me about that. Yeah.
It's great. And this movie actually kind of starts out with the same establishing shot where it's the violin player, like, let's go, everybody! I'm like, oh, I know where this is going. Nowhere.
At least he actually looked like he was playing the violin.
Oh, they didn't. The guy in Heaven's Gate did, too. Like,
it's like a pet peeve of mine when someone's playing the violin, like the bow isn't even matching the music.
oh, and you would really like that scene in Heaven's Gate, because he actually is doing that shit on like roller skates. The guy that got to play the violinist in that movie was the guy who actually did the soundtrack, so they just put him in one seat, have some roller skates, go around in a circle on this violin.
Oh my god. Because, like, Benedict Cumberbatch, bless his heart, but someone needs to teach him how to actually, like, play the violin so that when he does it in Sherlock, it doesn't make me want to strangle him.
I remember how mad you got at the end of The Living Daylights.
With the cello. She's playing it with bullet holes in it? Is that what you're talking about? I'm still mad about that.
And I'm sitting there like
That's how a cello works.
I'm sitting there like a smart ass, like, well, it sounds fine to me. You can obviously do it. Dave's back there, everyone. Like, the movie has, like the rest of them in the series, like, it has a great lead, and it has a great villain with Donald Sutherland being fucking evil as shit and amazing and entertaining.
He's like tied to a post and just laughing with blood running out of his mouth, and people run up and just start tearing him to shreds. That was genuinely terrifying.
It was like, yeah, like, I wish that this was a really fucking good trilogy. But it also does things that the other movies did too, where the violence in these movies is incredibly R-rated, but for a teen audience. So they're trying their best to get around people being ripped in half, people being, like, with their legs, like, blown off.
Yeah, they didn't show that his legs were blown off, but his legs were blown off.
Yeah.
Or like when Fennec gets torn to shreds by the mutts, and it's like we're far enough away that we can't see he's being torn to shreds, but we know in our bones that he's being torn to shreds.
They're using a lot of shaky cam to cover this up. Shaky cam and just plain old no blood. Yeah. Like, when the crowd of people gets blown up at the end, it just looks like something went off and put them to sleep. Like, all right, well, they were probably making a lot of noise.
They fainted from the shock.
Yeah, or, like, hell, like, there's scenes where President Snow is coughing up blood and his teeth are still white as day.
Yeah, he just puts a handkerchief up and then brings it down and it's got blood on it, but his mouth is still pristine.
Oh, teeth pearly, whiter than his hair. Like, even the only time a little blood got on his teeth was at the end. Like,
he's laughing.
But there's no blood when he gets torn up. No, that ending is good. Like, when there's that reverse where Julianne Moore is also fucking corrupt as hell, and so
she murders a bunch of children.
Yeah, she murders a bunch of fucking children, and then Jennifer Lawrence, like, puts together this plan, like, well, I'm gonna shoot her with an arrow, and then President Snow's gonna get Gaddafi'd. Like, there is like, you know, an hour's worth of really good stuff here, but fuck. Oh man, did you think it just kept going at the end too?
I couldn't remember how the book ended, so I'm like, well, this is it. No. Okay, well, this... Okay, no. Mm-hmm. Oh, so we get to see their children for no reason than to please the pedophiles.
Good, Jared Fogle will like it.
Pedophiles, get it? So pleased with myself.
Sarah gives thumbs up to Mockingjay 2 and also gets 15 years.
God damn it, because there were children in that scene and I just realized, no, PETA, because PETA's in that scene, and they want to see what his children look like.
I got you.
Because they want to have sex with them.
Obviously. Again, they have to keep it at a PG-13. It really only hinted at that.
God damn it.
But Jennifer Lawrence is so good that at the end she was making me tear up, and I really wasn't even liking the movie all that much. Like the scene with her and the freaking out in front of the cat.
That's what I was crying at.
Yeah.
Because the Prim's cat shows up and she's like, Prim's gone! And at first it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
She's just screaming out of nowhere, but then she keeps doing it and she's like throwing shit at this cat and just like open mouth sobbing with like drool dripping down.
Yeah.
And if it had been a different actress, it'd been like, there's drool coming out of her face.
Yeah.
But it was
But she's a great actress and easily makes this movie like a notch above some of the other movies like it, even though I was probably more entertained at something like Insurgent, which is not a good movie, but at least with her caliber of performance and the caliber of even the cinematography in it and the villains, like it does put it a notch above some of those other movies, even though again it should have just been one movie, or at least tightened to about an hour and 40 minutes. So I mean, it's got good enough stuff in it for me to not be like, don't see it, but I wouldn't suggest paying a full price for this unless you've read the book.
I feel like this is one of the movies where we don't have to worry about telling people whether to see it or not see it.
Yeah.
If you've seen part 1, probably go see part 2. If you haven't seen part 1, probably don't see part 2.
If you've seen part 1 and you want to see it just like as an obligation, then I wouldn't recommend a full price. Like, I wouldn't even recommend. Like, I was mostly bored in this, so honestly, I would probably just say like wait and rent it, unless you really want to go out and just complete the series.
See, and I wasn't bored. I mean, like there were some scenes, especially when they were underground, where I was on the edge of my seat.
No, that was an intense scene when they're walking around and it's silence, but it's a lot of pretty good scenes like that in what's like a 2.5 hour, 2 hour and 20 minute movie. So there's things in it that are sprinkled that are clever and actually woke me up a little bit. But there's a lot of sleeping in this movie and a lot of monotone.
People in this movie, for some reason, can just like prop up against a wall and just...
Oh, and fucking Gale walking in going, I've been awake for days. You haven't.
We watched you sleep. We just watched you sleep.
Well, even that, he looks fine. So you would recommend seeing it in the theater?
Yeah, sure.
I would say that if you must, wait until like a second run theater, but other than that, I'd be fine with just like renting it.
Oh, I see. No, if you saw part 1 in theaters, see part 2 in theaters.
Sure.
If you didn't, why would you watch this movie?
Even seeing it in theaters, I'm like, wait until it's a second run. But yeah, if you don't like this series, then you're obviously here with somebody else who really wants to see it in theaters. And there could be worse. It could be some of the trailers that we got.
Yeah, if you're just curious, I rent it, I guess, but I can't see someone who's not into the book series really being that invested in the movie
Brian
series.
would.
Would he?
Yes, he would. He would absolutely do that. He showed me the Ouija experiment. Like, he would watch this just because it's on.
It'd be funny if I watched the entirety of Mockingjay Part 2 without having seen Mockingjay
He would do
Part
that.
1. Yeah, I can see that.
Do you got the trailers?
I do. Vamp while I pull them up.
Oh, watch the movie Vamp? Okay. We kind of had, we had a cat lady in this movie.
Yes, the tigress.
Yeah, that was
weird. I think we're supposed to
weird.
recognize her from, the first movie, but I totally didn't.
For someone who was a cat, I did not recognize this person. That would be like you're watching a post-apocalyptic movie, and then one of the Cadillac cats shows up from, fucking Heathcliff and Friends.
Sisters.
Oh, fuck, god damn.
I get the feeling that maybe this movie is funnier than the preview is making it out to be. Because the previews
Maybe.
have, cut up what are obviously separate jokes and mushed them together into one terrible joke.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that might be the problem. Because I love Tina Fey and I love Amy Poehler.
I do too, but it has to look better than just Tina Fey and Amy Poehler are doing stuff.
Maybe, well, it's the same week as Star Wars as well, weren't you saying?
I think it is.
So I think we're gonna have to draw straws or something.
No, it's going to be between Star Wars and Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Oh, road chip?
The road chip.
My bad. Fifth wave.
Oh yeah, we kind of called what trailers we were going to get in front of this. It's like, all right, the YA movies coming out are the Fifth Wave and Allegiant, so we're definitely going to get those.
And boy, we sure did.
I'm guessing, again, like I said, I'm guessing Fifth Wave maybe not good. It's got a January release.
But Batman v Superman, which I really want to talk about, because I didn't see Superman v Superman.
Man of Steel.
Yes. I've heard it's not very good. But this trailer looked awesome.
I'm surprised it's taken us this long to get this trailer. This is the first time I've ever seen a trailer for this in front of one of these movies. And trailers for this have been out for a while. I've seen this trailer like maybe a couple of months ago or something. And just like, it hit me when like it came up, I was like, wow, finally we got a trailer for this in front of it. I hated Man of Steel. I like the trailer for this movie.
Yeah, like Jesse Eisenberg's being all twitchy and weird. He's like Kevin Spacey style.
Lex Luthor.
Yes, thank you. I wanted to call him Vin Diesel, and I think it was the baldness. And the syllables. And then, like, Ben Affleck, like, selling it as the Batman. I wasn't much for his Batman hat that he had at the end, where just, like, a helmet with Batman's face drawn on it. But I can see what they're trying to do is make him look at least slightly believable as being able to go toe-to-toe fisticuffs-wise with Superman. You'd have to build yourself some sort of, like, Superman fighting suit.
It looks like this one at the least has characters in it, which the other movie didn't. It looks like...
This one seems to have consequences for him blowing up half the city.
Yeah,
as well.
this one it looks like there's at least, like, things going on other than the disaster porn, and those things being, like I said, characters. But... the trailer is very Affleck heavy, which I think he looks amazing. Like, it looks to me like even if I hate this movie, I am probably really gonna love him as Batman.
I know that I'm gonna love Jesse Eisenberg as Vin Diesel.
Yes, as Blofeld.
The red capes are coming.
Have you gotten the trailer for it in front of anything?
No, but I've seen the trailer.
Oh, well, yeah. Yeah, this wasn't my first time seeing
This is
the
my
trailer.
first time seeing it. I think it looks good. I think maybe you hated the first one so much that it might be...
I hated the first one.
I hated the first one, too.
So much. I haven't...
Affleck gives that little bit of hope.
I've been saying from the beginning,
Yeah.
I like the casting of Affleck.
So do I.
I have a feeling they're going to be pulling a lot of things from The Dark Knight Returns, which is a pretty seminal comic book, which might be interesting, but the thing is, the question is, are they making a Batman movie or Superman movie?
Mm-hmm.
Because if they're making a Batman movie, the trailer, a Batman movie with Superman in it, the trailer looks appropriate. But if they're making a Superman movie with Batman in it, it's still the wrong tone. And that's the question. I mean, and it's got a lot of shit going on in it.
It has a lot of, yeah.
And I don't...
That's one thing that worries me about it.
I like Zack Snyder's style, but I don't know that I have faith in him to carry all that.
I mean,
as a storyteller.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, he's only as good as his script, but there is a lot of things that are apparently going on in it that's not in the trailer, and if it does have some flaws, one of them really could be that it's bloated as fuck, because like everybody is in that fucking movie.
But everybody was in the last Avengers movie. Yeah. Everybody's gonna be the next Captain America movie. And
but Avengers was called Avengers. Avengers wasn't called Iron Man versus other character. That would have been a lazy title.
No, it's
Iron Man versus some other guy.
Yeah.
I want to give it a fair shake. I really do, because I do want to see a good DC movie. But I don't have a lot of faith in it. I've got a little bit more faith, perhaps, in Suicide Squad, but I hate the look of the Joker in it. I hate that version of Harley Quinn they're using.
Harley Quinn just annoys me in general.
The original Harley Quinn, like from the cartoon, she was adorable.
Well, and it's the sex pot version of Harley Quinn is not a version of the character that I'm a fan of. I think it's unnecessary and gratuitous for no fucking reason.
I've seen that trailer, but I haven't gotten it in front of anything.
I want to give it a shot, but quite frankly, I don't have much faith or hope in it.
I do, because the trailer's very Batman heavy, which again might be the best part of the movie.
Well, and I love the casting of Affleck as fucking Batman.
Yeah.
Everybody else on the internet bitched about that shit. You and I got excited. We're like, fucking Batfleck, yeah.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Was that it? We only got a few trailers in
We
front
also
of it.
got Gods of Egypt.
Oh, fuck!
Dibs.
Oh,
Dibs.
wow!
I want to see that movie.
You
so
guys see
fucking
the
bad.
trailer for the Gods of Egypt?
I've been watching like all the stuff
Because
for
that
that
thing
come
is
in on the
amazing.
internet, and I'm so excited.
I listened
about
to
that
a
movie.
trailer review of that on Double Toasted earlier, and even that didn't prepare me for what the fuck I just watched. It was my first time seeing the trailer for it. I heard the audio of it a little bit, which was just the bah, bah. Wow.
You gotta watch it for the snakes.
You gotta watch it for that awesome 15-year-old CGI in it from a PS1 game.
It looks like an Asylum movie of itself. I said outside, it looks like they made it in like 1995 and just got around to releasing it.
That's exactly what it says. And I like Alex Proyas, like The Crow and Dark City. And this movie says, from the visionary director of iRobot.
I did not murder him.
Well,
Hell no.
that's the problem with Alex Proyas is just like, oh yeah, The Crow, which quite frankly,
Holds
watch
up.
it right, it holds up somewhat.
We rewatched it recently.
The character work holds up okay.
Oh, I
Not
think
a
it holds
whole
up.
lot else holds up. Dark City holds up amazing.
I mean, The Crow is, my God, is it a movie of that time?
Oh, yeah.
But
Still, there are plenty of movies of their time.
No,
that
that's
still
what I
hold
mean.
up.
That's what I was gonna say. Like,
No,
it's
it's-
just because something's dated doesn't mean it's
yeah.
bad. Like,
No, and it's very much a movie. I'm not saying it's
but it
bad.
still works. It
Yeah.
still works as a revenge movie. It still
we
works.
rewatched it and it was still amazing.
Yeah, we all watched it.
Dark
and-
City.
Oh yeah, no, I'm saying we
masterpiece.
used to watch it and it was.
Oh yeah. Like,
Dark City, best movie in 1998.
Dark City is a better movie than The Crow is, but The Crow is still a fantastically entertaining film. It is mid-90s as fuck.
I'd
but
watch The
it's
Crow again before I'd watch Dark City again.
Really?
But I love that movie.
Depends on what kind of mood I'm in. Like, sometimes you're just in the mood to watch The Crow over Dark City.
Yeah.
No, I feel you. Like, I think that the Dark City's a better movie, but
then
sometimes
the
I just gotta
iRobot-
watch The Crow.
What has he made besides
Knowing.
Knowing, yeah.
I didn't mind Knowing. Everyone hates that movie. I thought it was alright.
I've never heard of that
It's the
movie.
Nicolas Cage one where it's the numbers that are predicting the world is going to end that they
okay.
find in the time capsule. I didn't mind that movie. Things go to shit like crazy at the end. It makes sense that they mentioned iRobot at the beginning of this because this movie's
Same kind
got
of spectacle.
no same kind of shitty CGI, like really bad. Wow. And when that was trending on Twitter, Gods of Egypt, it wasn't just the words Gods of Egypt, it was all in capital letters. Is you gotta shout it. Oh, God.
Oh no.
Had a bite of Brian's burger.
He got too worked up over Gods of Egypt.
Yeah. Was that it?
That was it.
Yeah,
but
we
we
all-
also had a Allegiant, but we kind of went over that when we talked about Fifth
Well,
Wave.
but apparently, like, it is another one that's being split into two parts. But the first one is just called Allegiant, and the other part's gonna be
Resplendent.
probably deodorant. I don't know. Like, I don't know. I was like, well, I mean, it'll probably have some of the same problems a lot of those other movies do, but something about it not having part 1 or part 2 on it makes me be like, all right.
Do what you want.
At least it's trying to fool me.
I'll allow it.
Yeah, it's like, at least you're trying to fool me, movie. Like, okay, all right, I guess, whatever. That doesn't make any sense, but whatever.
What do we got next week? I can't stop yawning.
Like, next week is like all the Thanksgiving releases. There's like Creed, and a few other things. I'm mainly just excited about Creed, so I forgot about what else is coming up.
Every time I hear it, I get excited because I think of Creed Bratton from The Office.
That'd be awesome.
It's not about him. I'd watch that movie.
But better, like, Apollo Creed's kid, that it's the long-awaited biopic of the band Creed.
I think you mean Rocky's kid with Apollo Creed's sister. I still maintain.
I do not remember that ever happening.
You don't remember when Apollo Creed had a sister and Rocky had sex with her and they had a baby?
I mean, in the porn version, yeah. I didn't know that was continuity.
In the porn version, he slept with Apollo Creed's sister and then they all just stood in a circle and danced naked.
Yeah, that's great when you get to star in your own porn version years before the real version comes out.
Very prescient of him.
Yeah, that was smart thinking.
Bye, guys.
See ya.